Okay, we can take a look at some data that illustrate the differences between men and women with regard to various social issues. For example, do you think the Iraq War was worth the cost? 42% of men, 35% of women. That's not too different, but if we take another look, take a look at another issue. For example, favor increased federal spending on the war on terrorism, we find that half of men and only 36% of women agree with that statement. A striking difference is a question, do you think the federal government should make it more difficult to buy men? Functionally, it's half of men, just a little under half, but two-thirds of women, over two-thirds of women, agree with that statement. So that's a profound difference. So there are definitely differences between men and women with regard to public issues, and again, this is referred to as the gender gap. Okay, there are also differences with regard to race. For example, we see strong support for civil rights laws by African Americans, and we also understand that African Americans will hold distinctly different views than whites. It should be noted, however, that it's not really appropriate to talk about minority views, because there are differences of opinion between African Americans and Hispanics. So it doesn't tell us a lot to simply say minorities believe this, whites believe this. We need to get a little more granular than that to understand that there are distinctions between African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians. Even in the area of Hispanics, that doesn't tell me very much, because there are differences between Mexican Americans with regard to political participation and political values when compared with Cuban Americans, and both would be grouped in that term Hispanic. So be very careful whenever we talk about differences based upon race or ethnicity.